Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the W podcast.
The fourth one.
The fourth?
Yeah, we're in three.
Well, oops. The fourth episode of the W podcast. Today we are talking about fitness and nutrition.
Yes, two extremely important subjects. So we've dabbled on the subject over the last couple of episodes, and if you know anything about us, you know that we enjoy the subjects quite a bit. So we wanted to get started because it's important for us, and also because both of our lives have been kind of focused around general fitness in general. So for you, I mean, ever since I've known you, you've always been fit and you've always been taking good care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And you know, consistency is super hard to maintain, especially with whatever challenges life throws at you. You know, finding the time to continue working out whichever way you can, to eat well whichever way you can, to sleep properly, you know, to just make all the right choices to keep your body in health and in shape. It's pretty tough. And for me, it was a kind of a different road in the sense that when we met about 12 years ago, I was in okay-ish shape. Nothing too crazy, just, you know, average for my age. But then I kind of really let myself go. It was a collection of choices that I could blame on circumstances, but really it was my fault.
Okay, so you said you really let yourself go. In what ways did you let yourself go?
Well, I wasn't really paying attention that much on the food I was eating. And I really think that's what it was. So my kind of lifestyle, like I've always gone to the gym, I've never really stopped. Now I've always trained, I've never really stopped. So that wasn't really the problem. I was always strong. But my diet really wasn't that great. You know, I ate a ton of carbs and I mean, yeah, horrible for you. But really what it was is whenever I wanted to eat something, you know, I just ate it.
Like pizza, pasta,
ice cream, bread. Bread is, I love bread still to this day. You know, and I never stopped. I ate, especially late at night. I think that's what killed me, is that, you know, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd go through my routine, go to the gym, do my, you know, go for a walk, whatever, go to work, come back home. Sometimes I would train in the evening as well. I was pretty active, you know, but then I sat down at like 8:30 or 9 p.m. in front of the TV and just ate all the time. Mm-hmm. I was eating nonstop. Eating, and always standing up and getting more food. And, you know, I wish I could blame it for, you know, on anything, but really it's just me. I couldn't control myself.
So it was really the bad eating habits that got you there, because you said you were still maintaining training.
Yeah.
But I actually heard somewhere fitness is 80% in the nutrition and only 20% in the exercise. Would you agree with that?
100%. I think that, you know, working hard, well, not even working hard, just working consistently at the gym or anywhere else in terms of your physical fitness, like actually training, sure, it's important. Mm-hmm. But no matter how much you train, if you don't eat well enough, you won't get the results you think you want to get. And, you know, a lot of people that I've spoken to over the years, and I've been in the field for a long time, they've been telling me the same thing. It's like, oh man, I've been going to the gym very often, but like I don't really see any results. Like, what do you think is happening? Should I take steroids, for example? That's a question that a lot of guys ask me. And I'm thinking, well, sure, why not? I mean, that could work, but then we don't really talk about what they do in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, oh yeah, I eat well. Okay, well, please write down what you eat. And if you really do the exercise over, let's say, a week, you understand that you eat a lot more than you think. You know, chips there, sauce there, bread here, pasta there. It all adds up, man.
And there are apps, nutrition apps that you can download that will track how much you should be eating.
Yeah.
For instance, like if you go to the gym, what you should be doing is eating according to your macros, which is a certain amount of protein, carbs, and fats, according to your goals. If you want to gain some weight, if you want to lose some weight. Mm-hmm. And so people don't really understand the importance of nutrition when it comes to fitness, because they think, like you said, I'm just going to go to the gym and I'm going to get results.
Yeah.
But the reality is they are paired together. If you're not eating well and you're training, you're still not going to get the results, because the results really lie in the diet. The majority of it.
Most of them, I would say, sure. Yeah, I mean, like, you can train as much as you want, but if every night you eat the equivalent of, 3,000 calories of junk food, it's not going to look good on you, man. I know because I've been there. Like in June of last year, I weighed 310 pounds. And I had been weighing that much for most of the past, I would say, 7 years before that. So, it's not like I wasn't trying hard to lose the weight. I really was, but it wasn't working. And, people say, oh yeah, sure, but I eat well. Okay, well, write down what you eat and do it for real. A lot of friends that I've spoken to over the years mentioned that their diet was pretty good. And then we, wrote down everything they ate. And over the course of the week, the numbers didn't make any sense because I'm like, man, you eat really well. Why? How come you're not getting any results? And then something clicked, and I asked, okay, well, when you go out, what do you do? And they said, well, I drink. All right, well, how much do you drink? And that's when the numbers exploded because I don't know if you know this, but there are calories in alcohol, quite a bit.
A lot, yeah.
And most of them are in sugar because alcohol is made out of sugar. So, you have to count everything you eat and everything you drink and really put everything down on a piece of paper. And at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out. I mean, you can talk details. I'm sure there's a million programs out there of, specialized nutritionists who will give you the program that's good for you. But at the end of the day, if you want to lose weight, you want to make sure that you're burning more calories than you're eating. And you're never really going to have an exact reading, I think. Like I have a Fitbit. It kind of tells me how many calories I burn, and the food that I weighed when I used to count my calories a long time ago kind of gave me an idea of how much calories I was bringing in. But it's not exact, but let's say it's 90% accurate, and that's good enough. But then what do you do if you don't like counting calories? Because it's a lot of work, man. Like you take every meal and you weigh every piece of the food that you're going to eat, and then online you can find the information as to how many calories they have, how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats there are, and you can kind of optimize to your macros based on your goals. But that's a lot of work. So what do you do if that's too much?
There's an app also. I used to have an app on my phone. I still do. You can scan the barcode of the item you're eating, put in how much you're eating of it, and it will tell you how much.
Yeah, MyFitnessPal, is that the one? I used to have that.
I'm not sure the exact name. I would have to check, but there are apps available for it.
Yeah.
And you can put in your weight, and it can tell you like how much fat you should be eating, protein, carbs, according to your goals. If you want to lose weight, gain some weight, build muscle. So for me, that's pretty much what I did because I didn't really like counting calories or weighing. Right? So I would use that app, and it was pretty accurate, and it worked for me.
Yeah.
So, but again, it was just to maintain.
And you did a good job out of it too, right? Because look, man, like we're getting older, and it's harder and harder, man.
It does.
You have peer pressure. People want you to go out. They eat and drink like shit, right? And then you kind of have to follow along, or else you're not cool anymore. Like these are important things that you have to realize. Like if you have your own goals, man, you gotta follow them. And if the people around you aren't happy with them, well, then you have to choose what's more important to you. There aren't any wrong choices. Look, if you want to hang out with your friends, hang out with your friends. That's fine. But if you want to look good and feel good, well, maybe you want to look good and feel good. And then you have to understand that sometimes these two things, they're not compatible. You have to make the right choices. See, I got lucky because when I stopped drinking 4 years ago, it was during COVID, right? So that life change was fairly easy to implement in the sense that I couldn't go out anyway, even if I wanted to. Everything was closed.
Yeah.
And then by the time everything reopened, I was like, screw that, man. I'm not interested in that stuff anymore. So that kind of helped. So, yeah.
And like you said, alcohol, if you're going out every single weekend, multiple times a week, and you're drinking, that pretty much kills all the progress you made at the gym and with your nutrition throughout the week. So it's not really beneficial for you, not for your body. Like alcohol is straight up poison. You're poisoning yourself.
I recommend stopping drinking altogether. If there are plenty of interesting drugs you could try out, alcohol is definitely not one of them. There are so many studies out there, and I'm sure you all know them. How bad it is for you, how it's involved in more violent crime. How have you ever really made a good decision on alcohol? Come on, obviously
Probably not.
I mean, sure, people call it liquid courage, but really, do you need liquid courage, or maybe you just need to kind of just go talk to the people you want to talk to without needing to drink? Because then, do the people that you talk to know the real you or the drunk you? That's not the same person. You know that, right? So, like, what's going to happen when they wake up next to you in the morning? They're probably going to be disappointed, and you might just be disappointed too, because you're going to wake up with someone who was completely different from who they were the night before. Everybody's fun on alcohol, sure, but sober, I don't know, man. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
It's not the same thing.
So, we discussed how alcohol is bad for you, and it pretty much is bad for your body.
Yeah.
Kills your workout.
Yeah.
Nutritionally, but you also discussed about how your bad eating habits made you gain all this weight.
Yeah.
Even though you were still working out.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell the audience, because I know how much weight you lost in so little time, about the carnivore diet that you started and how it affected you.
Yes. So I want to start this story by saying thank you to Mr. Jordan Peterson and his daughter, Michaela Peterson. I don't know if you're ever going to watch this. If you are, thank you, because thanks to you, I turned my life around. So I've been kind of talking about listening to podcasts all the time, and then I ended up listening to quite a few, whether it was Rogan or Peterson or even his daughter. And then eventually I said, you know what? They talked about the carnivore diet, and I really like steak, and I wanted to try it out for a day. So on June 7th or 9th, I'm not too sure. Anyway, someday in June of 2023, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and eat steak all day long. And I did. It was steak or ground beef, whatever, or bison. Anyway, did that for a day, felt pretty good. Did that for another day, felt pretty good. Decided, you know what, let's keep this up. Did that for a week. After a week, I had lost 12 pounds.
1 week.
So
that's crazy.
That's pretty crazy, right? But then, you know, if you know anything about weight loss, you'll kind of understand, right? If you lose a lot of weight fast, sometimes it's water weight, sometimes it's just because of the changes. It could be anything. You said, you know what? Sure, this is good. This is great. I feel better already. I went from 310 to 298, which is great. I hadn't been below 300 pounds in years. But then I said, okay, let's do it another week. And a week after that, I think it was, I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like 25 pounds after 2 weeks that were just melted, gone completely. I said, okay, screw that, man, I'm all in. And then I just had, so for 3 months straight, from let's say June, July, and August of 2023, I had for food red meat, I had coffee with a bit of cream, and the occasional Red Bull. And that's it. I did not count my calories. I did not take any multivitamins. I just had steak, salt and pepper, Red Bull, coffee, a bit of cream with my coffee, and water. And that's it. And sparkling water too.
How many times a day did you eat meat?
It depended. Some days I would have it twice. Some days 5 times. Some days 6 times. Some days 7 times. It was just, you know, most of my calories were coming in from protein and fat. So it was kind of like the keto diet, you know, where you don't have any carbs at all, but more so because I had a lot more protein. And I did have enough calories to eat. So what happened, one of the side effects I've noticed, never mind the weight loss, but is that when I was hungry, I was feeling depleted. And then like I had a bit of steak and color came to my cheeks. Like it was funny, you could actually tell that I hadn't eaten for a couple of hours, and then I'd go eat and have a piece of steak, and I'm pretty pale, and you could see that like when I get red, people would notice, oh, your cheeks are colorful, and I would feel it. And so so after 3 months of doing that diet, and remember, it's not really a diet, like I loved it. It wasn't hard. Like I would say maybe the first couple of days I kind of missed ice cream, but whatever. I had steak instead. You know how much I love steak. I fucking love it, man.
Steak is amazing. I can eat it every day too.
I know, right? And I was eating it breakfast, lunch, dinner, midnight snack. Like if I would stop at a convenience store because I was working, I would buy, you know, those meat sticks that are pure beef. I would buy those. That would be my snack. I would snack on beef as well. Like it was amazing. And in September, I weighed myself, and I'd weigh myself every week, and every week was like between 5 and 10 pounds less than the week before. It was insane. Nobody could believe it.
It was insane because
You remember,
every
right?
single time I saw you,
Yeah.
you got thinner and thinner and thinner. And I almost couldn't believe my own eyes. I was just like, what are you doing? How
Yeah.
are you doing this? And then you had told me about the carnivore diet, which I had saw again from like Michaela and Jordan Peterson before. And I said, wow, it's really working.
It really was.
Really working for you.
And it was insane how well that went. Like I had dreamed, like I was 39 last year, and I thought, you know what? By the time I'm 40, I would like to weigh like 250 pounds. That would be an amazing dream. But you know, my birthday is in January, and we were in June, so I was like, maybe let's set a more reasonable goal. Let's get down to like 280, let's say. And I was, you know, it was crazy. Early September, I weighed myself, and I was at 245 pounds.
You reached it really fast.
Yeah, and not only like it's not like, you know how sometimes you lose weight and you just like your skin is flabby. That wasn't the case, man. I was strong at the gym. I was strong. You know, I felt amazing. My libido was back. My sense of my self-esteem was at an all-time high. The amount of validation I got, man, like, you know, my love language is validation. Jesus, everywhere I would walk into, everybody's like, my God, what is going on? And I would train, like I had been at that gym where I'm training right now still. I had been training there for 2 years, and everybody knew me as kind of the guy who trains there. And then, you know, the change was so fast, it was unbelievable. To this day, I get people coming out to me and like saying, Yuri, what happened? And I tell them the story.
Yeah, because it's shocking.
Extremely. And it worked. And it was so easy. It was one of the easiest things I've ever done. People keep saying, oh, you need to work hard to change yourself. Not really. You really don't. All you need to do is just do one change and then stick with it. Be consistent.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I was living in, like, I had a wife. I had 2 children, 1 teenager and one toddler. It's not like they were on the carnivore diet, you know. They kept on eating ice cream, they kept on eating pizza, and it's fine. It was my choice to make. It wasn't theirs. I wasn't going to force them to live their life differently. I was just, you know, eating separately, and I was eating my own things, and then sometimes they would eat steak with me, and they would have sides. I wouldn't have the sides, I would just have the steak. And yeah, and then, so in September, I kind of added eggs onto the diet. And then eventually now I eat whatever, but now I'm sitting at, 230, 235. My body fat percentage went from like 37%, I think, to 19 or 20 now, which is exactly where I wanted it to be. I'm not really, like, I could lose more if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. I'm comfortable at sticking with what I am now, like for another 6 months to a year, and then we'll see what's going to happen, because I feel pretty good. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the side effect that people don't tell you is that when you lose a lot of weight, you got to buy clothes. Yeah. Clothes are expensive as fuck, man. Especially at this day and age. But it's a good problem to have. So one of the benefits that I've noticed is not only is it physical, but also health-wise. So I sleep better now. My blood pressure has always been at the high range, next to the danger level. Like, I knew eventually that I would be taking medication because I have a family history of high blood pressure. I go get tested now every once in a while. You go to the pharmacy and they have a little machine there, and I test it every once in a while, and I'm smack in the middle of the ideal range. Never in my life have I been that way, and I'm genetically predisposed to have high blood pressure. I have it's insane. It's actually insane. Everything is different. I look at the world different, and not only that, people look at me differently as well. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like it was a long change. It was super fast. It's less than a year ago. And I could tell how people used to react to me before and how they react to me now. And let me tell you, it's a whole different ball game. And for those guys who are single, let me tell you, I recently got out of a 9-year relationship and things are working well. It's amazing. It's amazing because the attention you get, the opportunities you get, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's impossible, really.
It's the impression. It's your appearance is the first impression people see of you.
Yeah.
So I feel like people automatically give you more respect when you look good.
They really do.
And also, like you said, you got the validation. It built your confidence.
Yeah.
You feel better.
Yeah.
So you're operating at a higher energy.
Exactly.
And people can sense that.
Yeah, I think so. Positive vibes attract positive vibes, right? Mm-hmm. And like we've talked about this because we realized like the people we're closest to now are really people who match our energy.
Yeah.
And most people around me are fit. Most people around me are big on fitness as well. It's not like, and we're all a little bit older. You know, we're not in our early 20s or late teens where it's kind of like average to have a six pack. You know, at our age, like I'm 40 years old. Men my age, on average, they don't really look the best they ever have. And I can tell you this, I'm confident. I'm 40 years old today. I've never been in this good of a shape ever. I can do the most amount of pull-ups. I can do the most amount of squats. I can do the most amount of chin-ups and push-ups that I've ever done in my entire life. I look better than I ever have. I feel better than I ever have. I'm 40. I feel better than when I was 21.
That's amazing.
It's insane.
And while you were on the carnivore diet, did your training change at all, or just the nutrition really?
My training did become a bit more focused. So my good friend Matthew helped me out. I met him at the gym a couple of months before, and we kind of decided to start training together pretty much at the same time. But when I started training with him, my goal was, so I wanted to bench press 3 plates, and I was never able to do that. And obviously, you know, with the loss of weight, you lose some muscle mass. So eventually we realized that was never going to be a possibility. You know, I couldn't maintain strength levels while losing fat. I mean, I could have with hormonal help, but I'm personally not into steroids. Nothing wrong with those who take it. Maybe one day I will myself. But right now, I mean, just with the changes I've had, I had no need.
Yeah.
Because what are the benefits of steroids? Higher sex drive, more muscles. Okay, but I already had those.
But
through the carnivore diet, so why would I need that?
Roids, I've heard a lot of negative things about them. So if you're trying to be healthy, personally, I feel like the people who are taking the roids are doing the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, so my opinion on steroids is like, it's, okay, if you've done everything perfectly for 2 years straight,
why do you need them?
and you're still not happy with the results,
Okay.
then sure, look
And
into
the
it.
boost.
Sure, look into it. But you have to have done everything perfectly. Is your diet really on point? I don't think it is. Because if it was, you would be happy. Is your training really on point? I don't think it is. Otherwise, you would be happy. So, I mean, if you take them, I get it. It's fine. But do it because you're at the point where you've tried everything naturally. You're at your peak of your natural capacity, and you need that extra boost. Or if you have any hormonal problems. But if you have those, then your doctor's going to prescribe you TRT, and that'll be it. TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. Men of a certain age, it's a very popular thing. Nothing against that, but any of you who are like in your 20s, I don't know, man. TRT is probably not for you. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving my own honest opinion. So yeah, there's that.
Right.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Personally, I feel like the roids, people use it for like the extra juice, bigger muscles, ego boost, you know, to feel good, look good.
Yeah.
But for the health reasons, there's so many negative things with the roids. If you're trying to be healthy and look aesthetically pleasing, I just feel like you're doing the opposite by taking roids, personally.
It's because a lot of people who do them, they don't do them the right way. Like there's a lot of documentation out there that's available on many online forums where you can know, like, what's a steroid cycle? You know, what are the positive side effects? What are the negative side effects? Where you need to be in your health and fitness journey before you take them? What kind of substances you need to take afterwards? Because I don't know if you know this, but we could actually do a whole podcast on steroids with a friend of mine who's an expert in the subject.
Oh, let's do it.
But just so you know, when you take steroids, it's called exogenous hormones, which means that your body doesn't produce testosterone anymore because you inject it into your bloodstream, so into your muscles. Sorry. So what happens when you do that is that the testes, so your testicles, don't work the way they're supposed to, which is normal. They don't have to. But when you stop injecting yourself, your testicles need a kickstart to go back to the way they were before. And, there are products for that as well. It's called a PCT, a pulse cycle therapy. So again, if any of you have any questions regarding that, I can kind of point you to the right direction. I know the current status is, I think it's illegal in Canada, but it's not illegal to learn. So I can give you information as to what the product does in terms of where you should get it or where you could get it. This is never going to be anything, you won't hear it from me, ever. I don't want to get into any kind of trouble. And honestly, if you have hormonal problems, go see a good doctor. And not just any doctor, go see a good doctor and they might help you out. But again, if you're overweight, you don't have hormonal problems, you have weight problems. Lose a bit of weight, you'll be fine. Don't even worry about it. Just trust yourself. You know?
So there's a lot of other methods to lose weight, and the main one being your diet.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Well,
you
it worked.
lost so much on just the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And that might not work for everyone, but
I think it does.
You think it does?
Well, everyone who's ever tried it only had good results.
Feedback.
Yeah. So I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know. Maybe someone's going to say, "Oh yeah, but what about this? What about that?" Okay, fine.
One of the whatabouts can be the cholesterol, because you hear a lot about red meat giving you very high cholesterol.
Yeah.
Did you notice a difference in your cholesterol?
I haven't checked my levels.
No.
I haven't done any medical testing before, during, or after.
Okay.
All I've done is, I did it because it was working. And if you really want to get more details, follow Dr. Sean Baker. He is a famous doctor on Twitter, which is X now. Thank you, Mr. Musk. And he basically popularized the carnivore diet. I believe he introduced it to Michaela Peterson, who then came up with her blog, which is theliondiet.com. I believe that's the website. If not, I'm sorry, but it's something along those lines. And so Dr. Sean Baker is a big proponent of the carnivore diet. He will give you all of the information you need to know. If this podcast opened the door for you, great. Mm-hmm. Give Sean Baker a follow. He's a great guy, super funny, multiple world record holder. I believe he is well into his 50s right now and is still in the best shape of his life.
That's
and
amazing.
He's great. He did a few podcasts with Joe Rogan. I think they're a good way to kind of get into it. Just listen to them talk, and if it resonates with you, maybe you should try it out. I did. It worked for me. Could work for you. Maybe it doesn't. Whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying that last year, 9 months ago, I was 310 pounds and extremely overweight. And now I'm 235 pounds, only slightly overweight. And it's fine. I've never felt better. I wouldn't change it for the world. And if I die tomorrow, at least I know that I've reached what is for now my physical peak. And that, to me, as a man, is something I never thought I could have accomplished. And I did it by doing the easiest thing in the world, eating steak. Come on, who doesn't like a good ribeye, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you're vegetarian, well, I don't know what to tell you. I guess, why are you listening to this?
Yeah, because we are talking about the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And hey, if you are obese or overweight, there's no harm in trying, right? Because
What's the worst that
you're
can happen?
already unhealthy
Yeah.
to begin with. So you might as well just give it a shot. And then if it doesn't work for you, or it's having negative health consequences, then maybe stop and go to a nutritionist and see what they suggest to you.
Yeah, there's plenty of options. At the end of the day, whatever got you to feeling bad enough about yourself so that you're looking for solutions to change, it's a collection of choices that clearly didn't give you the results you wanted, right? So maybe make some different choices, something you're uncomfortable with. We had an episode, a couple of episodes back, which was about doing hard shit, right?
Yes.
And just to follow up on that, doing uncomfortable things, it's hard at first. But if you get comfortable in doing those things, your challenges are going to be easier to overcome. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, is the carnivore diet that easy? Maybe it's not, but maybe because by that point I had already, started doing jiu-jitsu, was doing that for a couple of months. I had already, started taking cold showers. I've been doing that for a couple of months. Maybe at that point I was kind of, my nervous system was used to being controlled by my will. And so maybe, to me, just eating steak, compared to the cold showers or the jiu-jitsu stuff I was doing, maybe it was just that much easier.
Yeah, and because you're doing something every single day, eventually it becomes a habit and a daily routine. And once it's a part of habit and routine, then you just do it no matter what. It's like normal for you.
Yeah, not doing it feels weird. Like before this, I just took a shower and it was freezing cold. Just before this episode, I took a shower and it was cold. And it wasn't cold so this is the thing about cold showers. I take it hot, super hot first, and then I end up rinsing with cold water for like 2 to 3 minutes. And it shocks the body into tightness, and it's amazing. So knowing that knowing that I'm able to do that, knowing that I did the jiu-jitsu thing, which now it's comfortable, I love it, but before it wasn't. And so I kind of conditioned myself into being used to being in uncomfortable situations. Maybe that made the carnivore diet kind of easier to follow, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, you know what it was too? It was like, shit, man, I'm so far ahead of where I was, and it's just because of this one thing. Like, why stop now?
Yeah.
Why stop now? And like eventually tapered off, eh? Like I was like from 310 to 250, that was super easy. And it was the fastest. But then from 250...
Like 60 pounds right
there.
Yeah,
the first 60 to 65 pounds were the easiest, were the fastest ones to lose. I think it took 2 months to lose those. And then the last month, I lost like 10. But that's because I think my body started to become used to this whole new thing. And then I said, okay, let's try this out. And I stuck it. But now I'm between 220 and 240. That's where I fluctuate, and I'm okay with that. Today I'm sitting here at about 235. That's where I was this morning, and we're gonna go film a quick little workout later on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll put some pictures and some video in the episode as well, just so you could tell. And I'll try to get some pictures from back then as well. Just do before and after comparisons. I have a few on my personal socials, but I want to put them over here so that you guys can kind of see the different person.
Yeah.
From before and from after, and you saw it.
So I can attest to that. It was incredible. I was so in shock. I just couldn't believe my own eyes. Honestly. And it just goes to show you, changing something so simple such as diet makes a world of difference.
Exactly, because nothing else changed. I'm still the same guy. I didn't become something completely different. I mean, sure, my self-esteem went through the roof, and that was great. But like, I was living the same life that I had before. I was just putting different things in my body. And that's it.
Diet, when I was at my, I guess, most unfit, my most chunkiest, I started getting some cellulite.
Yeah.
It was when I was eating a lot of fast food. I used to work at Wendy's.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in the day when I was in high school. Yeah. And that's when I was younger. You're in high school. I was 15, 16 years old. So very young. And I started gaining, like on my hips, a lot of unwanted weight, the cellulite on the back. And I was thin. So as a thin person to have cellulite is weird. But it's because I was working at Wendy's. I got a fat discount.
Yeah.
I would eat Wendy's like almost every single day when it was my shift. I would eat just like McDonald's when I was in college, all the time. And so just by changing my diet, now I eat more like chicken, rice, veg, Steak. Steak. Yeah. Love steak, yes.
Right. Right.
So just by changing my diet, I literally got thinner, and the cellulite started going away.
Yeah.
Just with diet. So
I've never seen you with cellulite. I've known you for 12 years. Never once.
It was when I was, like I said,
it was before, right? But the fact that you got rid of it just goes to show that it's possible. And again, like, everybody has different genetic makeups, right? Everybody has a different life. So we're not saying that, do this and you'll look like this. We're just saying, if you take care of making the right choices, you give yourself the best shot at being a better version of yourself. And that's really kind of the whole theme of our talks, right?
Yeah.
Is don't compare yourself to other people, because you'll always be disappointed. Compare yourself to you.
Yes.
I got lucky. I was blessed that the carnivore diet did what it did as fast as it did. So, I don't know. I'll try to reach out to Sean Baker. Maybe he'll take my phone call. But Jesus, I have seen transformations on Twitter and on Facebook, and I haven't seen mine. I haven't seen someone lose that much that quickly.
I don't think I've seen that ever. That's why I was so shocked. Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing?
I know.
I thought you were taking like Ozempic or something. You
No.
know the celebrities, they
Yeah,
take that pill
stupid
and
drug there. Yeah.
apparently they lose a bunch of weight. I thought you were taking that.
No.
Because
No.
I was so in
Unless
awe.
my wife was putting that in my coffee without telling me, and I don't think she was. She would be. She was a great person. Still is, by the way. And you know, no.
No. Carnivore diet.
Carnivore diet, just steak, Red Bull, coffee, creamer, a bit of, not a bit, a shit ton of water. Pre-workout. I did take pre-workout. I'm sorry to say, I have to say that. But, what's in pre-workout?
Caffeine.
Basically caffeine and a whole bunch of other things. So I can tell you that it wasn't the pre-workout that made me lose 90 pounds.
No way.
It wasn't the pre-workout, it was the steak. And to this day, most of my protein come from steak. Now I eat anything. Like I had a burger today, I had a burger yesterday. I'll survive.
So now you don't just eat carnivore diet, you eat more things.
I eat basically anything I want.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's...
According to macros or...
No, I don't count.
No?
I don't count. I just
Okay.
I make a point of having a lot of protein in my diet. So
high protein diet.
like I had a Big Mac yesterday, but I knew that in a Big Mac there's 70 grams of protein or something like that. So like, all right, fine.
Once in a while.
Once in a while it's fine, but then I also use my Fitbit to count how many calories I burn. So I made sure that on the days where I eat a lot of food, I try to burn more calories. And another thing, just because we're talking about burning calories, don't think of burning calories as a daily thing. Think of it as a weekly thing. Because if you look at it longer term, it kind of makes more sense, right? Because you can have some days, like I work in sales, so most of my job is sitting down, and I'm very often in restaurants. So, and in restaurants, obviously, I'm not going to tell my client, oh, sorry, I'm just going to have the steak. I did last year, but not so much now. So I eat all the time, and some days it's harder. But then the next day, what I'll do is I'll kind of catch up. I'll go for a walk more. I'll go out after my son more. When I'll go to the gym, I'll do cardio. I made a new friend at the gym, and we do cardio now. I haven't done that before, but now I do it. It's about half an hour every day. It's that much more. I vacuum my house all the time. Not because it's dirty, just because I love vacuuming. And also, you're kind of walking. Right?
You are.
I live on the 7th floor. I go down the stairs, go up the stairs instead of taking the elevator. It's not hard anymore. It used to be.
The little things.
Just the little things.
Yeah.
It's just trying to be a bit more active than as much as you can. Just have that in the back of your mind. What can I do to be a bit more active right now? And then with the food, focus on the protein. Try to minimize the sauces and the bread, and you'll be fine.
The carbs.
The carbs.
The carbs, really.
Definitely the carbs. Yeah. Carbs are the worst. In general, I hate them in the sense that I love them. I hate what they do to me. I'll never trust a pill that helps. Ozempic, something you mentioned.
Yeah.
I heard a whole bunch of information about that makes me not want to take it. I don't want to share that information right now simply because I don't remember it. But I just know that how I felt when I listened to that information was like, man, this thing is scary. And besides, if I'm able, like I'm the most average person if I'm able to lose 70 pounds, 80 pounds, 90 pounds on a carnivore diet, you can too.
So can you.
And yeah, just believe in yourself. Faith.
Yeah, at the end of the day, also, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're in a calorie surplus, meaning you're eating more than exercising, you're going to gain weight.
Simple math.
That's it.
Simple math. So start by that. Then if that doesn't work, do the carnivore thing. Try it out. What have you got to lose anyway? I guess it depends on how desperate you are. I was pretty desperate. I was 39 years old. My son was 3, just turned 3 years old, and I was like, Jesus, soon he'll be able to run faster than me. Could you imagine being 39 and thinking that you can't run after your toddler because you're too out of shape?
Yeah.
It was the most awful thing. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. He will run faster than me anyway. My boy's a monster, a great little monster, but it won't be today. I'll try to delay that day as much as I can.
And simply because he decided he didn't like the person he was, and he did something about it.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. If someone tells you, oh, you should like the way you are, okay, to a point, sure. Like, you don't want to kill yourself because you don't like what you see. But at the same time, Jesus, you have, God gave you this body and this life and gave you the ability to make choices, gave you the ability of free will. Use it.
Make the best of it.
Make the best of it.
Make him proud.
Make yourself proud.
Yeah.
Try to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of each day and say, are you proud of yourself? And
At the end of every day, you should reflect back on your day. Did I do the best today?
Yeah.
If not, what can I improve on tomorrow?
Yeah. It could be one little thing. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just one little thing that you could do better tomorrow. And if you do that, keep that habit every day for a year, let me tell you, you will not recognize yourself from a year ago. I look at pictures from my Google Photos and from my Facebook pictures, those memories you have?
Yeah.
And I look at them and I'm like, Jesus Christ, who is that guy? Who is that guy?
You don't even recognize.
No. It feels like it's a different universe.
Yeah, if I look back to myself a year or two ago, I don't even recognize her anymore either.
Jesus, no, not at all. Not at all. You're a completely different person.
Yeah. And we should all be changing. We should not be remaining the same. We should develop better habits.
Yeah.
And even if you do have good habits to begin with, try and make bigger goals and improve continuously.
Why not? It's fun.
It is fun.
Change is fun. Positive change is even more fun.
Yes.
Challenge yourself.
And I guess that
I guess
concludes
that's it.
this episode.
That's a good place to stop, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for listening to episode 4 of the W Podcast. We'll look forward to the next one. And thanks. It was great.
It was great.
All
Challenge
right.
yourself.
Ciao.
Bye.